Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Kwali. It's the Non-Stop Playing Podcast, and I'm back with another serious topic. So, like I do as I always do in the beginning, I got to tell you what happened on the last episode. I had my boy Raj on. He talked about Web3, metaverse, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all the essentials you need to know. And he didn't give actual advice. He was just telling you things to look out for in terms of getting involved in that area. So, check out the episode if you haven't. And for all my, people that have come back or my supporters, again, hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that follow. Again, I'm dropping content all the time. So I'm trying to get on the schedule, but the way these topics coming up and these people trying to get involved is real out here. So again, I appreciate y'all for the support. And also, if you haven't checked already, I do have an option for you to support. So if you go to the link in the bios, you can go in, you can, donate some money because your boy really trying out here. It's real out here. So y'all know what it is. Don't act like y'all don't know. Y'all do know. So again, I just want to do that little housekeeping before I get into this topic. So without further ado, I got a special guest. So as y'all know, season 2 has been all about special guests, and this guest, this kind of fell out the sky. A little, divine intervention in a sense, right? It was written. So I have my guest on today, Tatiana. She's originally from Illinois, but she's out here in Arizona now. We met actually on our where we both work. So we met doing that, and got acquainted, and you know what it is. Sometimes they say all skin folk ain't kinfolk, right? But we connected, and that's just what it is. So I got her on today, and we're going to talk about a very, very serious and crucial topic related to healing and moving on. So without further ado, I want to welcome Tatiana to the podcast, and she's going to talk her ish. So tell the people about yourself, and what brought you to Arizona, and you know why are we going to talk about healing today?
Well, my name is Tatiana. What brought me to Arizona actually is a part of my healing journey. So I will definitely get into that. I would consider myself a celestial being on a physical trip here. I am the owner and creator of Natural Royalty. Natural Royalty basically began as a vision building into an organization to assist in spiritual and self-development through radical art therapy based workshops and programs. I also have 4 amazing little people who will shine so much light into this world. I already know it. But as far as this journey, we never really realize where our journey starts because we think that journey starts when we're born. But I mean, I'm 33 now, and everything that I've experienced, I feel like, things have been moving way before I got to this planet, to get me here. But I will say that I am definitely this person, just a little bit about my mindset. I'm definitely that person that doesn't like labels. I don't like being put in a box or being marginalized in any kind of way. But just for explanation purposes, I have struggled with depression. And of course, like many people of color, um, from my experience, also struggle with acknowledging um, that we have depression for many reasons, and that's a whole nother topic. But through a lot of self-evaluation, I just really realized that when I'm faced with, you know, all of these things in life, it's easy to get distracted from developing yourself. So the second the really bad um, set of depression that I was in before moving to Arizona is what really kicked off like this last, momentum of growth, if you will. But again, it made me realize how important having an ongoing growth regimen is. Like, not, don't think about it. Don't, this isn't something you can guess. You know, this isn't something that oh, I'll deal with it later when it comes up. No. And I'm one of those people where, you know, life hits me hard because it doesn't work um how I think that it should work. And that's why I consider myself like a celestial being. I feel like I really move out of love, regardless of what I be feeling. Lord knows, Lord knows. But like, I say all that because like I see, you know, the little struggles in other people. I see them and then I want to automatically help. And that has been um a blessing in my life, but a blessing that I have had to learn how to balance. And I realized that that was probably one of the main things that was causing like depression at one point, because I was trying to pour into so many people. And seriously, I was trying to pour into so many people and not realizing I wasn't taking care of myself. I like head on, like people that I love, if I see something, you know, in them that I can speak to help them in any way possible, even if I had to be there, like checking on you, and especially with people that I'm in relationships with. That's on a whole nother topic.
That's
But
that. That's
like,
that. That's that Pisces in her.
oh, shut up. It's a whole nother thing because, like, you know, a partnership for me in any aspect, whether it be platonic or a romantic relationship, like it's it's not just about loyalty at that point. Because my thing is like, if you're coming into my life with intention. Don't come into my life and try to play around and get like, nobody has time for that. I got 4 kids. That's my line. Like, that's my line all the time, my go-to. Why you didn't answer that phone? I got 4 kids.
That's
But
a fact. That's a fact.
anyway, yeah, but I don't know. It's just, it has put me in a space where I really had to start recognizing you got to be selfish, G. Like, and it was so hard. Like, I don't like, I know that's not hard for a lot of people, right? And it's so crazy to me because when I started to do, he said me, I'm that guy. when
Facts.
when when I started to do it, I was so like, I didn't give myself no grace. I was just like,
Mm.
I can't do this. How can I pull back from everyone and just say, do me? And God pulled me to the side one day and was like, and I swear, this is my relationship with God, and we're gonna get into that too. But it's literally a relationship. He pulled me aside and he said, "Hey, sis, you know why you deserve to be selfish? One, because you have 4 beautiful kids that need all of you, not a part of you. And if you're going to do that, then you need to make yourself whole. And if you want to do that, then that's going to require you to take some time to yourself. That's going to require you to be a little bit selfish. But how is that gonna make everybody else feel? What if my close friends? What if I can't be like, I can't talk right now. I can't be on the phone every week, whatever. Like, what if they feel some type of way? How do I deal with that? And it came up. It definitely did. I mean, I have a friend, I still right now to this day feel like she is every bit of a soulmate. She is one of my best friends, and her whole family, her mom, everybody. But in that space, I wanted so much to help her, and she needed like that support, but God was pulling me back at the same time. Like, those were the contradictions of life that I knew was going to hit me hard when I decided to be selfish. but that self-love, that requires you to be selfish at that point. And I prayed and I realized, you know what, even if this does in some way, shape or form, put a space in our relationship, it's gonna always be, no matter what. And I don't know when we will reunite, but I know that we will, because I know that I intentionally took took that time for myself, because I knew what was ahead of me. And I knew if I didn't stop and get that done, that I was going to regret it in the near future. And so making those tough decisions beyond what your friends and your loved ones feel, as long as you're communicating that, I say do it. But I'm just rambling.
And I love it. I love it because it takes another step, right? It gives you another source of essence of who you are and what you
Yeah,
represent, right? We haven't gotten to the thick of it, right? As far as how you started your journey and actually what led to your journey in a sense, right? But you kind of gave that precursor to where you are and what you're trying to do, so or what you are doing in a sense, right? So again,
yeah,
it's like that trailer, right? Well, shout out to Jordan Peele. Nope came out the other day,
right,
so you seen the commercial with the alien aircraft and riding horses. You like, man, I gotta see this. So
right.
that was the precursor to what we're gonna get into. So that was
Yeah.
great. But I want to highlight a few things that you said that I felt were super profound. One being, you said that you can't pour into others, right? If you don't have anything for yourself. And that's an analogy that I live by and I've always lived by, but never knew what it was, right? I always tell people, like, how do you expect me to pour into you if I don't have anything to give from myself? My cup is
Hmm.
empty, so that means you're getting nothing from me. I have to replenish that cup in order for me to give you what you need as well. So, having that self-reflection, having the way to frame it, or having that ideology of, all right, I got to make sure I'm good. And I actually talk about this on one of my episodes when I talk about dating. People are dating broken, and people are dating from a mindset of, I have to get over, and this is why all these toxic behaviors are happening, and this is why things aren't lasting
So
more than
bad.
6 months, because you have nothing to give, but you seek so much. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
dogmatic approach, and it doesn't make sense, and you wonder why you're in the
Yeah.
position that you're in. You haven't healed personally, you haven't taken those steps back. But a lot of people say, well, I'm just doing my own thing, but they are having sex with a lot of people, and that's a ritual in itself. So then you throwing yourself off even more, because I talk, man, Devanino, we talk about that, and how do you activate your kundalini? How do you activate your chakras? People out here doing things they shouldn't be doing, sharing
Yeah.
unnecessary energy with folks and not getting anything in return. And
Yep.
I can go down the rabbit hole if you need me to, but it's real out
Man.
here. But this episode is about you, and we do talking about your journey. So let's dial it back. So
No, that's good though.
yeah, no, definitely,
I
definitely, definitely. So gave us a precursor, saying, as far as your mindset and where you are and what you're doing. So what led you to that in a sense? And if it's something that's a little too personal, we can kind of block that out. But, you know, what has given you the strength, or what has given you the vision to be like, all right, you know what, Tati, all right, sis, you gotta tap into you. You gotta build on you. What led you to that in a sense?
oh, yeah, so I was, and I feel like I need to say this, even, and sometimes we deal with uncomfortable things. I was just journaling about this the other day. Like, if we hide from the uncomfortable situations or the pains or the traumas, instead of facing them, and I'm not saying just face them head on. You got to get over it, because healing is, unpredictable. It does not have a specific time stamp. But I know I can never again be, in a situation where I'm like, oh, this is just too uncomfortable. Like, it's too much for my emotions. I'm going away, because that's not like solving my issues. I didn't have the the role models to show me how to use those particular skills. So I think that everything that I tapped into literally came from life experience, trial and error. But specifically on this journey, I was in a relationship that was abusive uh, on all levels. And after ending that relationship, um, I felt nothing. I don't. I was here, but I think that I was sad that I wasn't feeling like me. I was sad that um, I had given so much pure energy, and how do I come back from that and try to raise kids? I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, right? And I remember just the summer of 2018, um, right after I had my last son, actually. And uh, I met this guy that I would say that he was kind of like um, a sage in a sense. It was so wild because I think that God really knew like how hurt I was, and God really knew like how torn I was, how much I was blinded to my actual essence now. And I even in the sadness, I felt like I knew that God was feeling that and he wanted me to overcome this somehow. I just didn't know how. But when I met this guy, I told him about what happened, and I have never in my life had so much unconditional love from someone that I barely knew. I didn't understand it. And leaving that last relationship that I was in, I was not I was not looking or wanting anything to do with another situation. But I genuinely know that he just wanted me to be. Like he wanted me to just be in my own presence. Even if I was around him, the silence spoke volumes. It was like, I could sit here and talk your ear off right now, but in essence, I want you to get back to you, and whatever that means. Maybe that means you're getting back to you by, us meditating together, me giving you this time away from your kids so you can, get the silence, making sure that I'm making you aware of different cleanses that some of his shaman friends had that we went through, and things that really like shifted me from kind of like dying and then coming to a rebirth, right?
like a
And
phoenix almost.
yeah, it's so wild because like, and I'm getting chills like telling this story because I guess I looked at it like this, but it sounds like almost phony to an extent
Calling
because
me
I had
now.
exactly because I had this cleanse, right? And in the cleanse, it was an ayahuasca cleanse. It was a meditated one, a guided meditation. But at some point, I heard God, and I was like, "Oh, I'm about to get to God." That's all I kept thinking. Right? I seen this black space with like a peak of light. Light equals God. We all know this. So I'm like, I gotta get there. I gotta get there. But meanwhile, I also hear so many people like on the outside, like, it's okay, Tatiana. We've been trying to get this message to you. We know you've been through a lot. And it's like, multiple voices, all saying kind of the same thing. Like we just need you to carry on type thing. And this is way in the beginning of this journey, mind you. But when I get to the light, I don't see anybody. And I'm like, so what's going on? God, like, you here? And the response I heard was me. It was me. And I'm telling you, like, even when that happened, I did not know how to dissect that. I didn't, I wasn't even there. Throughout these years that has gone by, I realized God has been wanting me to see that He lives within me. Period.
Come on with it.
Right.
Come on with
So
it.
and if that's the case, then I'm meant to be here to create. And if that's the case, I can reshape my life.
There we go. That's
How
that's what it is
how
right there.
exactly? How can I do that? How can I do that without making it feel, inauthentic to me? These are questions that I ask myself because I mean, ain't
Mhm.
nobody else asking me. I'm that person. Like I have to figure it out. And
Mhm.
it came down to uh, the creative uh, passions that I have. It's dance, art became one, and I realized these are the things that really have helped me um, express the things that I can't quite be vocal about. Because once I release that energy, maybe then I'll be able to journal. Maybe when I release that energy onto a canvas, then maybe I'll be able to talk to my friend about whatever it was I needed to talk to him about. Um, but again, that was like the beginning of it. But when I decided to move here, God really started doing some work on me. Let me tell you, I'm for real because I don't know if you know who Michael Todd is, but he's a pastor um, of this church. He has a book called Crazy Faith. And there's a sermon that he did. It's called, I can't think of what it's called, something in the desert. Basically, where when God wanted you to reshape your life, he put you back in the desert. You go back into any of the stories in the Bible where they're in the desert, and those stories where the men have to basically restart their life, that's where they're doing it at, in the desert. And again, I'm not putting all of these things together, as my journey is happening. This is me reflecting. But I'm seeing this real time. Like, you can't be here and not do what you have been asking me to help you do.
Mhm.
So when I got here, COVID hit not too long after. I was out of work. Um, I was still very much, dealing with um, a lot of emotional abuse. And I was like, how do I get out of this? I feel trapped. What do I do? And I ended up checking myself into a mental facility. Um, During that time, uh, I mean, I really didn't want to go, I'll be honest, but I knew that there was nothing else that was going to really like help the growth as far as like me getting the tools that I needed to understand, how my psyche was working and what I needed to move forward. And so when I got there, maybe about the fifth or sixth day, I think I really started to realize like all of these classes and things that they have us go to, yeah, they want us to do them to get our minds off of whatever it is that's making us, depressed. But at the same time, they're exposing us to these things in hopes that one of these activities or one of these things resonate with you so you can have this tool to help with that depression or help with that anxiety or what have you. And so the things that, of course, spoke to me there was art. I've never really dove into art, on a personal tip, like, I'm just gonna go paint one day. I mean, that just wasn't like in my skill set at all. Dance was always at the forefront. And I just felt comfortable doing it because it just allowed so much freedom. And so those are one of the things that I wrote down. Another thing that I wrote down was, hiking, exercising. Those are all good things to get those endorphins. All of those things are really good to counter depression. So once I started realizing what they were doing, I'm like, oh, they're just getting things to counter the other feelings. So whenever I'm feeling something, I need to just find a tool to counteract that feeling, to get out of it, basically. And so that is what I started doing. I started painting after about 2 weeks of coming out of the facility. I was hiking every day. And like after the second week, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go home and finish this little project for my bathroom. Cause I mean, again, it wasn't really like anything I was like trying to like go hard in. It was just literally something I wanted to do to get my mind out of my mind. I was just thinking too much.
That part.
But when I started painting, I like literally was like in zombie mode. I My kids weren't there, so I was like able to zone in for a week straight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I painted nonstop, and I think I painted like 10 or 11 canvases in that week.
Mm.
Again, it was wild because I feel like they came where I was able to create them, but they also came at a perfect time because, like I said, COVID was happening and everything was shut down. I didn't have work or anything. And my mom was like, you should sell those. And I was like, I'm looking at her, I'm like, Mom, like I'm looking at these paintings like they my babies. I'm
Right.
like, you just want me to give these up? Like, how dare you? But no, I understood what she was saying. Like, again, things were tight at the time. And again, I wouldn't change what happened at all. But so I decided to put them on my social media and do an
Mm-hmm.
auction. So I did a live art auction and I sold 10 out of the 11. I kept one purposely
Oh yeah.
because I just couldn't. And it's my
Oh yeah.
favorite one. It's actually this one.
Oh wow.
This is a print, but the actual piece, you can actually touch the flowers.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay. I see you. I
everything I
see
do
you.
is like mixed media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after I sold all those, like I ain't gonna lie to you, like social media with him, and I'm not a social media type. So I just felt all anxiety. I was like, oh my God, what's this? What's happening? What do I do? But it also let me know preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Preparation is key. And that didn't stop me from painting, but it just put me in a mindset that like now I have to be so intentional about everything that I'm doing. I don't care if somebody is in my inbox like, hey, when's the next time you're gonna do a painting? Like, I don't feel that pressure, like at all. You just gonna wait. You're gonna see it when you see it. That's what it is.
Right.
Because honestly, I mean, anything that I do, whether it be dance or art or public speaking, I also play the steel tongue drum.
Who?
I want the steel tongue drum.
Steel
Um,
tongue drum.
yeah.
All right.
It-
I'm gonna have to look that up.
it's kind of sing the singing bowls that you see people have, and they have different notes for each singing bowl. But with the steel tongue drum, all of the notes are on the drum. It's kind of like
Like a
um,
xylophone?
it's kind of like the circular xylophone.
Okay,
I
okay,
wish I had
okay.
it in here. I don't have it in here. I'll show you. But yeah, all of the again, this is like one of the things that started to help me, like as far as meditation and really like calming anxiety. And so like on my journey to find the things that help me personally with my depression and calm anxiety and allow me to be more of myself, my authentic self around people, I want so badly to give to other people. And it's not something I know I can give necessarily to other people, but I want to at least assist them in that direction, and I really feel like the programs and the workshops that I'm currently developing um, for natural royalty will really, really help not just adults and women my age, but I also want to help kids. Um, there's just so much on my journey, even with the spirituality aspect, um, where that comes to play also in those workshops because I feel like you can't have one without the other. I feel like when I spent that week painting, God was painting. Not gonna lie. I looked at the paintings and I was like, gee, how that happened? Like I, I'm not I'm not a painter. But it's one of those things where like where I knew that it wasn't a skill that I was amazing at, but I also was willing to like let it become my own. And that right there was like the yummy part about it. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can dance and I can, get into a whole groove. But if at any moment I have like, this urge to paint or express, I can just real quick, I'm gonna do that. What it looks like. I don't care what it does look like to other people. It's all about perspective.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing about art, aside from it mirroring life as far as like, duality. That's a big thing that also has truly like helped my brain be more at ease
Mm,
with things that happen, in the world, because when you understand, duality, it's like the resisting versus letting go, or being a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time, and
mm-hmm.
reminding myself of those things like genuinely, because I'm not totally healed. There are things that trigger me. There are things that are going to trigger me when, I really uh, dive into relationships. I know that there are going to be things that, won't come up until I'm in that situation. So having core tools and understanding like uh duality and the we're being a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time, just it just centers me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that change is nature's default. And when we start to understand that, well, when I started to understand that, it started to help me overcome my depression and a lot of trauma. It just required me to understand the importance of flowing with the change, but also adapting to stay in the flow, right? Because just because things change and things happen, maybe sometimes the way that we don't quite understand, it's our job and our responsibility to stop, almost like the scientific method. I love science, so Um, and but for real, but my brain naturally goes to the whole like scientific method. I gotta stop. I'm observing the whole situation, figuring out what's going on, asking myself questions, because then I do have to analyze what's my next move, because I'm not trying to be in this same predicament again. I'm not trying to feel this pain again. I could sit here and cry and think, why me? Because I probably will cry anyway. But
Pisces. That's that Pisces energy.
but it's like I have to make sure that I'm not just analyzing it. I'm making um logical, assumptions about like, hey, I put myself in this position. This happened because of this choice. Now, next time, what can I do? All right, now I'm in this situation. Next time, this is the test part. People do not understand this. And this is so wild to me because this is literally like the order of life. Like, legit.
Thinking 101, right?
I'm like, they're like, man, it's been a real test to see. Like, yes, of course, you're gonna always have to. Like, nobody is eliminated from
Right.
that at all. So it's like when stuff happens to me and then I go through that whole process, I be waiting on the test. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where you at? We
Right,
peeking
right,
around
right.
the corner.
Marco Polo. Let's get it.
Literally. but but when we are in that cycle or in the awareness of duality and how nature changes, when those tests come up, they'll feel like tests. You'll still feel the emotional hit from it because we human,
Mm-hmm.
but you'll be ready to take it head on.
Facts.
And I can say that because use the scientific method and test it and and analyze it. Now I'm reporting back to you.
Hey, I love it. I love it. Hey, but Tati, check this. Let's take a quick commercial break. Let the
All right.
people let this resonate in their mind because they might have to do some dialing back to be like, man, why I keep going through the same thing? So when we come back, we're gonna hit them with some more real
Hey,
ish.
cool.
So y'all be so we're gonna come back, y'all, and y'all be ready for it. Get your pen and pad ready. All right, y'all. We back. We back. I had to take a quick sip of water. Granted, I don't drink water, but I know Tati drink that water. Um, yeah, man, we at it. We in it. We in the thick of it, and she talking some good ish. And I really want to touch on a few things before I let her get back on because I noticed that she mentioned something earlier that a lot of y'all probably don't know what it is. So she used the term sage, right? So me, I'm familiar with what a sage is, but there's different understandings of a sage. But normally, a sage is a term used from like medieval times or like in Greek mythology or whatnot, and it basically explains a person that has a special set of skills. So my understanding of a sage is someone who, or actually, I'm thinking of a mage. A mage does magic and things of that nature, but a sage is
Mm.
someone who has extreme knowledge and is a good person. So just wanted to put that out there for y'all, just in case y'all were like, sage, ain't that what you use to burn in the house? Or don't you put that on, sprinkle that on
Right, talking about.
your stuffing? Don't you put that in your stuffing? Like, yeah, you can put the sage in the stuffing. It's a little ingredient, a little herb. But for the sense of the episode of what we're talking about, a sage is a person who has wisdom and is a good person. So I just wanted to put that caveat out there, so in case y'all was wondering, y'all head scratchers, you know what I mean. So, but yeah, so let's get back into it. So Tati, all right. So
Yeah.
you've been dropping gems this whole time, talking about different things regarding energy flow, regarding, pouring into other people, how you started your journey, the importance of art, the importance of spirituality and understanding the God in you. And I was super, it's elated by that because like my boy Devanino said the same thing when we were talking about chakras. So people that understand energy and how it works knows that it starts with you and it flows out of you and you just got to learn how to control that current. When you learn how to control that current, it opens up a lot of doors. So y'all just keep that in mind, people. Understanding your energy, it flows everything, and then rest is history. If y'all trying to be a millionaire, understand the energy in you. If you want to be a good person, understand
Mm-hmm.
energy in you. If you want
Ashay.
to, if
Yeah.
you want to do great things, understand the energy in you. Once you do that,
Yeah.
life is golden. Life is golden.
Yeah.
You become Omarion. You're unbothered because you know that ain't nobody take your energy from you. You feel me? So just keep that in mind, people. But
I'm so done with you.
I gotta let the people know because they gotta understand. Omarion, he was out there dancing with man. I don't know if you saw that verses, but that verses was
Yes,
boo
it was
boo.
awful. I was I don't even know how to explain how I felt. It was just it was bad. It was all
it,
bad.
it was
From the
terrible.
watermelon to the floor. It was bad. It's pretty bad. No, but everything that you said, like you super like on point with it all. Like when we learn how to move in that current, it's everything. And I think that being, in the society that we live in, people find it a lot harder to tap into their own current, not just because of like, the the technology and that type of distraction, but their own distraction. Like people will literally intentionally avoid things that they don't want to deal with and think it's not harming anybody. But reality, it is, whether you know it or not. If I walk around and I decided I'm going to let that situation like just be, I'm not going to deal with it, I'm not going to try to learn the lesson from it, nobody's going to be hurt by that. And I actually held on to that, for a minute. But I will say that there has definitely been monumental people in my life that has constantly, constantly made me remember that that is not true. If I don't go forward with my healing, then that it's not that it just doesn't affect anybody in your mind. Like it affects your kids. Now, maybe not right now, but when they're older, it may affect the people that you are supposed to be serving. Because yeah, we're supposed to be here and getting our birthright and being full of abundance, but we are also here to serve and purpose. And I cannot do that if I'm not healing that current constantly, if I'm not doing that self-evaluating work constantly. And I think that we have a hard time dealing with it because, I mean, let's be real. Nobody wants to feel the guilt or shame of things maybe that they've done. And then on the flip side, people don't want to feel, pain that they've endured. No way they want to go back through that, relive it. Why? But I will say the most important thing for me to relive it was to really understand it so that I can release it in the most genuine way. But I did that through art. It was easier through art. You through art or creative expression, I will say, because when I say art, I don't want it to be limited in any way. But with creative expression, it allows you to suspend your disbelief of limiting possibilities. It allows you to tap into creative solutions that may not always seem logical, but having that mindset um, made solutions feel infinite for me, and I think that again, that the creative expression is a part of that key, tapping into the cycles of nature. And when I say like cycles of nature, yes, in the seasons, but also moon cycles,
Mm.
tapping into to those things and being consistent with them and your own self-care, you start to realize how life is genuinely flowing. Sometimes it moves faster um, than other seasons, to be honest. But other times you have this really slow, flowy uh, space where you're supposed to be learning and grounding yourself. And if we're moving and all of the distraction, we don't know that that's the cycle that we're supposed to be moving in. We didn't take the time out to see where we was moving. And I know, honestly, like a lot of people get tired of me going so deep, but like, I just feel like, why not? To be honest, and I know I started saying that my journey really started after that relationship, but I think that I felt like it started then because I know that that's where I died, right? But in 2012, my dad passed, and that actually launched Natural Royalty because of so many things that I wanted answered. But death and heartbreak and all the other types of pain that we feel, like, and I don't want to be that person, but I will say, I mean, it's necessary sometimes for certain elements of growth. Like I said, I didn't have the specific role models I know I needed for my journey. I know that God has so much more for me than I can even imagine. And so in that, there's this preparation that, are you getting the skills that I need you to get? Did you obtain that from that last relationship? Did you get that from that situation? I'm all my that's how I operate 24/7. Like, I can't cut that off. I don't even understand how people cut it off. To be honest. But that keeping that mindset behind anything that has been painful, um it works. And I will say that it works again because of the scientific method, tested, tried and true. But as far as the death, like even the guy that I spoke about, the sage, he passed away unexpectedly, maybe like a year and a half after knowing him.
Wow.
And yeah, it was wild. It was so wild because I was legit devastated. I thought to myself, like, God, you are really playing with my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You what? Why? Why'd you?
Do we have a problem?
Just explain. Just explain to me what was going on. But that's why, like, I kind of like refer to him as a sage, and because he's still like his energy is still with me, and I know that his energy is only with me still because of the intentional time that we spent together. He could have said so many things, told me what I needed to do, the lessons. Even though he did, let me set the record straight. He was never shy to tell me when I needed, to get my shit together,
Facts,
roundabout,
facts,
basically.
facts.
But he was like, I feel like he tapped in to my spirit. He without the physical, he tapped into my spirit and understood how to communicate with me in the space that I was in. And because of how he operated, he allowed me to learn stuff about myself. Right. And that's why I say that situation really kind of also catapulted my growth. But his death also um, balanced me more in this life. I don't know if that even makes sense.
I'm catching it. I'm catching it because I feel like not to cut you off, but
Yeah,
they
go ahead.
say certain people come in your life for a reason, right? You got leaves, you
Yeah,
got branches, and you have roots, right? Some
yep,
people are here for a lifetime, some people are here for a season, some people are here
yeah,
for, you know, literally flip it and reverse it, right?
yeah.
But those people that leave that marker on you, it resonates with you and it helps
Yeah.
guide you even when they're not around. And
Hmm.
I can speak to that too. I have a lot of people that I've come across, and like even one of my good friends when I started my PhD, he started too. And this guy, at the time, I'm 28 and he was 66, right? Older guy. But we met each other. We had the same mentor. Our mentor, he's in his late 30s, right? So he's 66 getting mentorship from a 38-year-old, but that 38-year-old has a doctorate. So we're both taken from this man, but the time that I spent with, he was a good person.
Yeah.
Good person. So even to this day, he passed probably I want to say in 2019. I met him at 18 and I think he passed late 2019. But I met his son and built a relationship with him because me and him, we have similar backgrounds and understanding. So serving as like a mentor advocate for him, and again, and I'm not trying to steal the show because this episode is about you, right?
Good.
But again, those people, they leave those markers in your life, and those markers are there for a reason, and you have to tap into those. You don't just forget about these people and move forward. You tap into those, especially in those moments of
Oh,
dire
he ain't
need.
gonna let me forget. Oh Lord Jesus. Seriously, it's annoying sometimes. I'm like, all right, guy, we get it.
But it's
I
real
know
though,
what I
so I
need to
appreciate
do.
that.
Yeah. He definitely left a mark, but also made me realize not just with his death, my dad's death too. Like
Mm,
neither one of them will their deaths aren't going to be in vain because I am that person that looked at how their lives impacted mine.
mm-hmm.
And so with the seeds that they planted within me, I plan to uh, sow those seeds to other people. And that's actually how I started my next painting series. It's called
Okay.
Star Seeds. Yeah.
What is
I
it called?
actually started it Star Seeds.
Star Seeds. Okay.
Yep. I actually started it like November-ish last year, but this is one of those things where I'm being obedient with God because He said not yet. So I'm like, okay, not yet. But I understand because with every month changing, something new comes.
Mm,
That if I would have put more effort and showcasing it or trying to get it out, that it wouldn't have served the purpose that it needs to serve. So it's still in my garage, still adding on to it. And now he's like, no, this is a story. That's why I want you to hold on to it. You're not doing art to just have a gallery opening. You know the intention that you want out of your art, your dance, everything. You want not only the freedom of expression for yourself and others, but you also want to tell that story. You also want to make sure that they understand that this art form is allowing you to understand the flow of of life better. It's helping you in every sense. And I have to be able to um, dissect the the story or the message that spirit puts on me when I am creating. So if it doesn't come automatically after I've done the piece, I have to let it just be. And then I might have a dream, or I might just walk past it, or I watch the movie and I'm like, oh my God, mind blown. And honestly, I love thoroughly to live like that because it allows me to depend on God. That's where the faith taps in, and it's like, okay, God, I'm gonna let you do you. I'm gonna have faith, even though this don't look right, even though this don't feel right. I think I'm gonna just see where this go. And doing that, the scientific method, like I just said, it it's yielding the consistent results, right? So nobody can tell me that moving in faith the way that I have to get the results that I need sometimes, whether that mean, hey, I don't know how I'm gonna pay that bill, but God told me to let it go and keep doing what I'm doing, taking care of what I'm taking care of, and it's gonna be taken care of. Period.
Straight
Nothing
like that.
else.
And that's on
Just
that.
straight like that. And I realize even though that's easier for me to do, it's a lot harder for most people to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only harder because they're not making it a habit.
That part right there. And I you know what? I think based on that, that's a great way to sum up the episode because we got to talk about accountability. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
like to take accountability when it comes to, digging in and tapping into themselves and making amends.
Hmm.
People like to stay within that same realm, make excuses and say, "Oh, this only happened because of this." No, it happened because you let it happen. You
Yeah.
have the power to kind of disseminate that and go around that and do what you need to do to get out of that. So man, I
Yeah.
want to thank you for coming on today because listen, I know it was kind of tough because you're like, I don't get in front of people like that. But I was like, I got to get my sister on here. I just met you, a month ago, and we've been able
Yeah.
to vibe out the way we've been vibing out. So it's been super dope. But again, people,
Yeah.
listen to what she's saying because it's real out here. You can heal yourself. It's there. You can do it. Stop letting social media distract you and put you in this state of mind that you are less than because someone has more than you. You have what you have because you need what you have based on you doing that. So worry about you, stay in your lane. It's real out here. But with that
Yeah.
being said, it's the Non-Stop Playing Podcast. It's your boy Kwali. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, leave some comments. Let me know what y'all want to hear in the future. And if you're looking to support your boy, I have a link that will be in the bio. Again, drop them dollars because it's real out here. It's real out here. And I ain't pimping out here, but what I'm saying is help your boy out. But with that being said, thank you, Tati. And this has been another serious
Thank
topic
you.
and I will check in with y'all next time.